having lots of agreement from you two this morning for the time being, at least. In the meantime, we'll go over to see Brian, who's in the Oriel for us this morning. There he is. Look, Brian, who have you got with you there?
Thanks, Campbell. Hopefully we won't have quite so much agreement with our two guests down here. I'm here with Iestyn Davis and also Denis Campbell from UK Progressive. First of all, Iestyn, are you surprised by this coalition deal?
I'm very surprised. Every political science, political communications bone in my body says this can't work. Surely this can't work. It's nothing like we've ever heard of, known of before, even within sort of the realms of coalition politics, or there's no national emergency to make this kind of thing happen. So this is really, is it maybe a margin of convenience? Is it anything more than that? Can it sustain? Can it go the long term? I'd like to think it can, but every bone in my body says no, it can't.
Do you think people, Liberal Democrat supporters in particular, are going to be happy with a referendum on an AV vote?
No, I've been doing some work very recently with Power 2010 and Take Back Parliament, and the degree of disappointment that Lib Dem activists on the ground have who are part of this coalition is very palpable. They feel let down. They feel they have no opportunity to win a referendum vote on AV with a very strong portion of the coalition clearly going to be voting against it. And the question is, what will that mean for Nick Clegg? What will it mean over the 3, 4, 5 years, or indeed the next 3, 4, 6 months about what's going to happen on the ground?
Denis Campbell, you're not just a seasoned observer of British politics, but also, of course, American politics. We've seen almost a total breakdown of bipartisanship in the United States. Do you think it's going to fare any better here?
Well, I honestly don't see how this works as well, because you've got a situation where you've basically got Barack Obama in line with Senator Mitch McConnell on the other side of the aisle, and the two of them don't even speak to each other. So I can't imagine them being together and forming a government. It just beggars belief. Far left and far right coming together. You're going to have individuals on both backbenches that are going to fight this, and it's not that huge a majority. You're only talking about 25 or 26 votes. So if you get something that is fundamentally opposable by either the hard far right conservatives or the far left liberals, you're going to find yourself in another hung situation, not able to get your agenda through.
But from what we've seen, I mean, we haven't got the whole platform yet, but there does seem to be a lot of things that they have managed to agree on so far.
They have, and I think they've done that for the purposes of forming this marriage of convenience, because without it they wouldn't have a government. I don't think the Labour the Labour Lib Dem marriage was ever going to happen, but you just never know what this one is going to look like, because you've got such far left and far right coming together.
In terms of that, I mean, I suppose the other kind of interesting thing is you've got a Plaid Labour coalition in the Assembly here, and now you've got the Tories and Lib Dems in Westminster. How do you see that relationship working?
Well, it makes for interesting politics, doesn't it? It hopefully will create a space in which new things and creative things can happen, or alternatively, the converse might be the case, where there's an almighty falling out, and parties really have to regroup and realign themselves and learn some difficult lessons ahead of the 2011 election here for the 40, 60 seats that are here in the Assembly. So parties will need to learn the lessons, need to focus on what went wrong, what went bad. No party came out smiling on election night. Nobody came out thinking, yeah, we've won this and we've done what we could do. And who knows, there might just be an election in 2011 for Westminster as well. So it's still a lot to play for and a lot to learn.
If not sooner.
I mean, on that, I mean, the 2011 election is going to be interesting, because essentially we're a whole new world, aren't we?
Indeed, and what are you going to do here in Wales? Will that reflect what has happened just in this past election? Will Labour then be in a position to go back and strengthen itself as a result of what's happened? We're in for a summer of incredible discontent, not just the 20 days of the British Airways strike, but I've just come back from Amsterdam, where the trash hasn't been collected in a week because they're concerned about the amount of cuts that are going to happen with the result of a new government there. You start to get the public sector involved in what's going to be happening with the massive cutbacks and issues of who's going to have what jobs. It's going to be a very, very difficult summer, and not just air travel aside, but what else is going to happen here?
Well, we do know that coming out of this, there is going to be that 6 billion cuts that the Conservatives were promising, so that's going to have a major impact. And of course, we will be watching with interest that debate, Carlin, to see where those cuts come and what kind of impact they're going to have here in Wales.